All right, Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with one of the most legendary trainers of my time, for sure. Definitely future Hall of Famer trainer. And you know, we put fighter in there too because you're a former world champion. Robert Garcia, how's it going?
I'm doing good, thank you.
First and foremost, you're here in the response of helping Vergil Ortiz and his comeback and everything like that. How's training camp and everything's been?
You know what? It was like he never left. Honestly, came into the gym. Everybody was happy to see him. Everybody was excited that he was back. Him himself was very comfortable. He himself felt like he never left. This is the beginning, man, of something great because the kid is very disciplined. He actually pushes my other guys to train hard and to have the same work ethic, the same mentality. It's awesome to have him back. Plus he's so talented, tremendous power. I think this is the beginning of something huge.
Not going on like a controversy stuff, but just I know that you guys took a break from each other from a little bit. I just want to make sure I get the facts right. But you guys are back together.
You know what? Never in a bad term. It was something simple, something that obviously I respected also from Vergil and his dad. We never ended up in bad terms. We were always communicating with each other. How's everything going? How are you doing? When he got injured, when he was sick, I was always in touch with the dad. I went to visit him in Dallas. We had a really good talk, and that was the beginning of everything. Now he's back. That's the most important thing, and I think we have a bright future ahead. With Golden Boy, with the work that they're doing together, with so many fighters that they're bringing into their company, it's going to be big. This is going to be a big year for Golden Boy Promotions.
So the fact that you guys working together was always kind of like, we never left because we're always talking. And
Correct.
Just for this camp, that just kind of makes sense for us to kind of, let's work together, let's get things going.
And everything turned out well. We had a great camp, great sparring. Training camp went well. So, I think this is going to be another start to something huge, something even bigger than what people maybe expected before. Now it's going to be bigger.
Now, obviously, new weight class. So, in comparison, I mean, he's a growing boy. He's jumped in a couple
of man. He's huge. I'm thinking he will have no problem even competing at 160.
Oh wow.
He's big. He's strong. I've never felt anybody that strong. Around that weight division. I think he's the strongest fighter I've ever worked with, and I've worked with very strong fighters. But I think this kid is the strongest fighter I've ever worked with.
That new weight, does that make him stronger? Like, are we going to see him a harder punch? He's already punches hard.
He already punches hard, but yeah, definitely going to see a stronger fighter. Obviously the opponents are bigger also, so they're bigger, they're stronger too. So the fights are not going to be easy, but the kid is ready to compete against the best, and you guys will see a very, very stronger Vergil Ortiz.
Obviously, you have a great eye for talent, and I wanted to give you congratulations on the win against Sonny Edwards with Bam Rodriguez. I mean, people are like, they've had that pound for pound status for him, but I know those last two performances prior, people have been very fickle. Right. Do you feel that everyone's kind of like back on the Bam bandwagon?
You know what? It's the way boxing is. You lose. Some fighters lose one fight, and everybody takes them out of their list, and but the talent's still there. Bam had two performances that he clearly won, but they were not his best, and people were kind of not putting his name out there. But one good performance is all it takes. He's back. He showed it. I think with Bam is the better the opponents are, the better he's going to perform, and he showed it with Cuadras, with Rungvisai, now with Sonny Edwards. I think that's just what motivates Bam to get in there with the best, and that's what we're looking for. His next fight has to be against a big name, and we're actually pushing for that.
I know the Roman Chocolatito fight's not realistic, but the Estrada, is that the fight that you guys are?
That's the fight we're going after. We've had conversations, we've talked about it already, and that's the fight Matchroom. Gallo Estrada himself has already said. So we're looking for that fight to happen in the summer, July or August. I think if everything goes well, you guys will see that fight.
With the opponents that Bam has set around, it's, in my opinion, is compared to like Pacquiao when he had Morales, Burr, he had all these great fighters to show. You feel like Bam is kind of in a situation where he has like Estrada and Cuadras and like all these guys to be that potentially pound for pound fighter?
I think, like you just said it, just like Pacquiao did against the Morales, the Barreras. I think Bam is in the same situation with Cuadras, Gallo, Rungvisai, the four kings. Obviously Chocolatito is one that would probably make a lot of noise, but because of Mr. Honda and both working with Mr. Honda and then becoming good friends, might not be able to see that fight. But all the other ones are still. Sonny Edwards is also a big name, was a huge win. So I think we're in a good position right now, and eventually, go move up in weight to 118 and see what's there. But for right now, I think we're gonna be focused on 115, moving up to 115 and getting a few titles there.
Everyone's been talking about this fantasy matchup, the Inoue fight. How is that potentially realistic? Nothing soon, but do you see maybe a Bam and Inoue to?
Well, not anytime soon. Inouye's doing a great job at 122, and I'm pretty sure he's going to stay. From what I understand, he's going to stay at 122 for this year. But eventually, he's going to be a featherweight, maybe even a super featherweight. And by that time, Bam's going to be maybe at 118, 122. So it's kind of unrealistic, but. If he was to stay at featherweight for a few more years, I think Bam will probably be there in a couple of years, 2-3 years from now. And can it be realistic? Definitely. But as of right now, I don't even think about it because it's just too much of a difference. It's not something that we're looking forward to right now. We got other plans at 115 right now, and that's what we're focused on.
My last set of questions, I always love getting breakdowns from you. You give great ones. There may be a potential Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney fight that might be talked about in this year. Do you see a winner in that fight, or how that fight plays out?
This type of fights right there, who doesn't win? Everybody wins. The promoters win, the managers win, the fighters obviously win. Those are the fights that promoters need to make. I'm glad Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotion, has been talking about it openly to everybody. Let's all get together. Let's all make these fights happen. Win or lose, everybody wins because we're making those fights happen. And if this is the case, if the fight is going to happen, everybody wins because they're putting fights together. Even though they're not signed to the promoter, Devin Haney's not signed to Golden Boy, but if they do put the fight together, it's huge because those are the fights that boxing needs. Just like Tank and Ryan. I'm glad that Oscar thinks like that because me personally, I love that idea, and I hope all the other promoters think the same way and make those fights happen.
I know people have been critical on Ryan's last performance, and they've been praising Devin's performance. Is it safe to have maybe Devin edge out Ryan in a pick, or is it Styles?
You know what? At the end, they've had a few fights in the amateurs together. I believe they're 3-3 or 2-2, something like that.
3-3.
3-3. Yeah. So they've always been very competitive. When the bell rings, I think Ryan's going to try to win because he wants to have the lead, and so is Devin. It's going to be a great fight. Honestly, I think just the fact that the fight's going to happen, if Golden Boy and Devin Haney's team do put it together, that's already a win for everybody. Honestly, I don't really. In that case, I don't care, who wins or loses. I think just putting the fight together is going to open doors for many more fights to happen.
And my last question, and it's probably more like an interest of you. No fights are really announced this year, but do you have a fight that you hope and wish and pray to God that it gets made this year? And
I would love to see Benavidez versus Canelo, obviously, and I think 100% of the people will probably say the same. I really don't know if that's going to happen. If I have to put an answer, I don't think it's going to happen. But I would love to. That's probably the fight that everybody would want to see. I would love to see it. It's a great fight, very competitive. But personal reasons, whatever it is, we might not see it. I wish we do.
And just, I guess my last thing on that is, was it shocking to see David dominate Demetrius that well, I guess? Or
no, not really shocking because I know David is a monster. He comes to my gym often. He spars 15, 20 rounds. We have to have 4 or 5 guys, 6 guys lined up. Nobody could do more than 2 rounds with him, and we got to get him out and bring the next guy in. I know the way he works. I know how strong he is. So I wasn't surprised. I know Demetrius is a very talented fighter. I've seen him fight early in his career. Very, very talented, but there's levels, and and Benavides is just in a different level, and he was just totally bigger, stronger, faster. Everything was in his favor, so I was surprised.
And would he have to face Beterbiev or Bivol in this
I
case?
think he could face any of those guys, and I think he's got a chance of beating those guys too. David is a monster. He's great. He wants those fights. He wants those big fights, and I know he could win all those fights.
Awesome. Look, I appreciate time. I'm looking forward to the return of you helping Vergil,
Awesome.
which you always have,
Awesome.
but in the sense of a corner. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.